Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Cereal at Midnight. I am Heath, and in this episode, we're talking about LA Story, brand new on Blu-ray from Lionsgate, with some great special features. LA Story is a movie that I love, but it's flown under the radar. In the lead up to this Blu-ray release, it's been kind of exciting to see how many other people know about this movie and love it as well. So, it's from 1991. This is the 30th anniversary. LA Story is essentially a love letter from Steve Martin to the city of LA, to Los Angeles, to Hollywood. And it is a very Steve Martin sort of movie. He didn't direct it, but because he wrote it, because he stars in it, it's got his fingerprints all over it. And one of the hallmarks of Steve Martin's comedy is that it's very rarely mean or aggressive, and LA Story, it has fun with Los Angeles. It has a lot of biting social commentary about Los Angeles, about the shallowness of the people that live there, about the smog, the traffic, the ridiculousness of the architecture, the way they if you live in Los Angeles, you have to have a door that's 15 feet tall. But it never feels mean. It always feels fun and loving, and that's kind of a hallmark. Think about Steve Martin's movies, especially the ones that he's involved with on a writing level. So, Roxanne, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. They're fun, and they can have things to say, but they're not ugly. They're not mean-spirited. It is just a fun, all different kinds of comedy. So it's situational comedy. It's slapstick. There's visual gags in here, but then there's also it's just a really sweet movie in which Steve Martin as a character is lost. He is unhappy with his job. He's unhappy in his relationship. And the city of Los Angeles itself is a character. So we think about later movies like, everybody says about La La Land, which I love. I love Damien Chazelle's La La Land. Love it. That's a movie that really celebrates Los Angeles as a destination, it's largely myth, right? Let's say that. Let's admit that. It's like Route 66, right? The reality and the myth. What's the quote from the man who shot Liberty Valance? When fact becomes legend, print the legend. We print the legend, right? Because the legend is far more comforting, and Hollywood is a myth, right? But there's power in that myth. That myth is what draws people to Los Angeles. So I don't mean to be overly philosophical in my review for LA Story, but I think that all that kind of goes into the mix. This is a movie in which Los Angeles plays itself. That's a documentary about Los Angeles as a backdrop, as a location, as a character in the movies itself. So this has Steve Martin, and it's got Sarah Jessica Parker. This is the movie where Sarah Jessica Parker went from being a child actor, Flight of the Navigator, Square Pegs, right, into being an adult, a grown-up, a full-fledged actor. This is kind of the transition for that. It also starts, I'm trying to make sure, there's a ton of cameos. Who's the, I'm looking at the cast. Victoria Tennant is great, British actress. Richard E. Grant with Nell and I. Those who know, you know. Mary Lou Henner from Taxi and lots of other stuff. She's in this as well. There were in smaller kind of cameo roles. You got. Did I say? I don't want. If you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil anything for you necessarily. But Chevy Chase is in it. Rick Moranis is in it. That's two of the. So Chevy Chase. That's two of the three amigos right there. If only Martin Short was here. Martin Short is, of course, with Steve Martin in Only Murders in the Building, which is the other three amigos. So we never get all three amigos in the same place at the same time. There's a lot of deleted scenes stuff with John Lithgow as well that didn't make the final cut of the movie, but they're here on the Blu-ray extras. So the movie itself, if you haven't seen it, it's a lot of fun. It is literally a love letter to Los Angeles from Steve Martin. The special features here, we've got a new 23 minutes behind the scenes interview with Mick Jackson, the director of the movie, who would go on the year later, 92, to do The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. A British-born director who had a lot of success in England and was not a Los Angeles native, but it works. It just totally works. Oh, by the way, the architecture of Los Angeles, Tale of a Pup, the landmarks of Los Angeles, the hotels, the Hotel Ambassador, all the landmarks, it's all here. The freeways. All right, I'm getting distracted again. It's also got the O2B in LA. That's Mick Jackson's. That's the retrospective. O2B in LA. Mick Jackson's LA stories, deleted scenes and outtakes. Tons of stuff there. I mean, tons of stuff. There's whole subplots that were cut out of the movie, and they're included here. The Story of LA Story, that's from the 2006 DVD. It still holds up. It doesn't repeat information that we have in the... A little bit of the information gets repeated from the Mick Jackson special feature, but it has a lot of... it holds up. And then the LA of LA Story. That's where they're going around to the locations in Los Angeles. This is where we filmed this. Again, circa 2006. And that was the last, as far as I know, that was the last home media release for LA Story. I think a lot of us were like, is it ever going to get a Blu-ray release? I guess we were lucky it got a DVD release back in the day. I discovered this movie on VHS. And it was, full disclosure, I don't know that I connected with it the first time I watched it. I think I had to age into my love of movies, my love of Hollywood. I think maybe I was just too young and too inexperienced to appreciate everything that's going on in this movie. And then the original theatrical marketing materials. It's a Blu-ray, comes with a digital copy. There is no DVD included. I've taken the digital copy out, but there's no DVD here. It's just the Blu-ray. But if you are a fan of LA Story, I mean, you got to get this, right? It's like $12.99, or at least that's what that's the pre-order price that this was going for. So, great movie from one of the great creators who's, it's so funny because you can see, like, Steve Martin in 1991, some of the same jokes. There's some of the stuff that shows up 30 years later in Only Murders in the Building. There's one joke in particular. I'm like, that's the same joke from 30. So, it is distinctly his humor. But there's a sweetness to it. There's a kindness and a playfulness that I associate with Steve Martin. And that makes me really, really love him. He's one of our great minds. Great comedic, but also just a great creative mind. So, LA Story is available right now from Lionsgate. I'll put a link in the description of this to where you can pick it up. Let's talk about the movie. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? I would love to continue a conversation about just appreciating this film in the comments below. Guys, thank you so much. Take care. Until next time, here's where to go and what to do.